Good day, sports fans. No, weed fans. Hello, everyone. I'm Marijuana Man. Welcome to the show from Under the Influence, episode I can't remember. Been so many. Yeah, we're here live in Vancouver, smoking weed, talking about weed, thinking about weed, wearing shirts about weed. Thanks to Anil for being here. We kind of flew this all together at the last minute. And all sorts of anguishes with Shaw. Give me the internet. I shouldn't say anything. They're probably listening. But out of the blue, they hooked me up and fixed it all. So that was a nice surprise. So what? We're live here on Facebook. We're not live on YouTube, are we?
Not yet. I've been trying to start the stream, but it's telling me the error message I'm getting is that we are over our quota. And I don't know what in the world that means or when this quota appeared or how we could be over it. They certainly didn't tell me about that, but I'm looking into it right now. But we are live on Facebook.
So if you're skipping around on Facebook, got nothing to do, laying there in your pajamas, smoking weed, join in. That's what's going on here. Very nice days in Vancouver recently, lots of sunshine, and it gets as cold as it gets pretty much when it's sunny. So it's been, it's not winter cold, so for the rest of the world watching. But yes, it's been rather pleasant. Full moon time. You know, those kind of things. So, as the title of today's show, we're lucky to be here. I do feel that complete. Very lucky to be here. Always have felt that way, actually, doing all the pot TV over the years. You go, wow, get a chance to do this, talk about weed, and have honestly run into people all over the world that have watched our shows and know who we are. I ran into an Irish kid out in front of the store one time. He goes, "Oh my God, you're Marijuana Man." He said, "We threw a party at our house in someplace in Ireland, and you were our special guest."
Oh.
Yeah, we had you up on the table with the computer screen, and holy shit. Yeah, a number of occasions I've run across stuff like that over the years. So nice to know that people are watching. Thank you all for joining in today on your Facebookery. Doing a boat face. So, what? I don't know. Cannabis world continues on limping away as it is into commercialization, if you will. I guess that stage of it all to some degree. Here in Canada, it's odd and unusual the way things are going. The LPs are still selling everything off, downsizing quite a bit. I don't know what Aurora has a giant. Is it Aurora in Medicine Hat?
It is Aurora. Name of the name is Aurora Sky. Is the name of the facility.
Yeah, some megalithic fucking greenhouse they built in Medicine Hat. And $250 million greenhouse they built. 257 million. I just
Seems
take
like
the 7.
seems like too many millions.
Oh my God. Astronomical amount of money to grow cannabis. And what? I don't believe they even did grow any there. They planned to. They said they were going to, and they had, so much space. But I don't think they even finished it. But now they're not going to use it, shutting her down. That's the plan. In Medicine Hat, more hat than medicine. I gotta say, come out of that. Here's your hat. But somebody fucking charged them $250 million to build a greenhouse. Huh? Wonder who that was that got all that dough. People never talk about that. They're quite happy to say out loud that Aurora spent $250 million. You go, well, who did they give it to? Yeah. It's a lot of dough, and they were willing at that time to spend any amount of money to increase their potential to provide cannabis. But they never got to put the pot in potential.
I mean, what even is potential without pot?
Yeah.
Potential?
Can't have potential without pot in it. And they don't. They're finding now they have no potential. The greenhouse in Medicine Hat was their potential. Didn't grow anything in it. Damn good thing. I don't know, good thing. I don't know why they chose Medicine Hat, the northern portion of fucking Canada. Come on.
Wasn't that where all the best cannabis in Canada comes from? In Medicine Hat?
Yeah. Medicine Hat Thunder. Not. Greenhouse, 250 million. You gotta figure it's just a big indoor facility where the sun is outside, wishing it could get to those plants. Probably blocked from doing so in most respects, except for the growth part of cannabis. So they'd be burning as many lights as you can imagine in those facilities when they're going. So they're not really greenhouses. And I'm not too sure that many of them were even taking advantage of the sun. It depends on where you are. So, yeah, the sun's better. You can't get better than the sun. But whether or not you're actually taking advantage of it or potentially could make any difference. There's no way that a greenhouse here in British Columbia growing legal weed is turning their lights back any more than you do. 18 hours a day guaranteed. It's not a time when they shut those lights off to take advantage of the sun. You couldn't. You can't do that, really. The plants wouldn't like it. Especially if they are in flower. They're not going to like it. And you would have all sorts of hermy problems doing that kind of shit. So, now guaranteed they're burning them 18 hours a day and claiming it's greenhouse. Sun grown. And most of the legal greenhouses, I've seen pictures of lots, and they have coverings up the sides of the greenhouse that block the sun. There's no sun getting in from any of those angles. And just maybe the peak open to the sky. You go, wow. Like it's such a short time that the intensity of the sun is actually getting into these fucking greenhouses. and potentially greenhouses are traditionally manufactured to block out UVB light, which would be about the only ray of light that I'd be concerned about getting. So, maybe. What do I know? I don't know everything. So, it's just the folly, really. The LPs have come at cannabis from a completely different point of view than we ever did. We had a fairly well entrenched point of view about cannabis in a culture that was thriving, but they were allowed to monetize this first, get all the money you can out of everybody, and go away, and then perhaps downsize into the reality of the marketplace. So, interesting how much money was spent, right? How much was raised and how much was spent. At astronomical prices they paid for. $250 million again for Canopy or Tokyo Smoke.
Well, that was money well spent, wasn't it? Everyone knows Tokyo Smoke. Everyone's impressed with their incredible cannabis. They've been leaders in the industry for so long, champions of everyone's rights, and I'm sure it all worked out great.
And they're doing the same business as anybody else down the block from them, right? So they aren't in any way dominating the industry or ever have the potential to, because they were nothing to begin with. But somebody chose to pay $250 million for Tokyo Smoke, which had nothing at the time. How the fuck do they get away with this kind of laundering? I think it was well known who got the money, but so I got how many years is that going to take to re-fucking coop? And you and I as consumers may well be just paying for that. The price of Tokyo Smoke. So interesting how it's going. Now, what? We do get closer to the cannabis with potential micro cultivators getting into the game across the grid. I don't know about here so much. Don't hear too much about it, but
What I don't understand about micro producers is, like, I talked to a guy last week and he grows 20 plants and he doesn't want a license because he only wants to grow 20 plants. It doesn't make any sense to him whatsoever to grow. Why would you want a license? Like, even if you're pulling down, massive profits from these plants, like, what do you, even at a couple $1,000s a plant, even that, it's just the weed that he likes, and he doesn't have a medical license. He just has space for 20 plants, and that's what he grows. And he doesn't want a license.
No. Well, you probably wouldn't want a license. You could get one, perhaps, even that small. But, so...
The cost of the license, though, is so high for that.
You don't need to have a grow that's as big as they allow you. You can have much smaller ones. I believe some woman, she's got a license for her garage as much as she can produce in her garage. I don't know. But, so, it will march along, I suppose. But in the meantime, another LP, Zenibus, they unloaded one of their greenhouses for half what they paid for it. Theirs was only several million, wasn't it?
Yeah, I think the original price was like 12 and a bit, and someone told me they had marked it down to 7 million, and then I was told recently it had been sold for less than that. But I can pull up the actual price.
Well, yeah, so they're all reeling back now from what they fucking spent. How they overspent. So I don't know. Very questionable behavior from those that did that kind of stuff. Really, you would think if I was an investor, I'd be going, "You did what? You overinflated your potential. You had no fuck. Well, nobody had any idea what their potential was. I'm not too sure how that was determined."
Yeah, what I never understood about the potential was like, I mean, and it wasn't even in an effort to be rude, but I was never interested in any of this. Like, never once did I look at any one of these companies and say, wow, I can't wait to smoke that weed. But this whole time, people have been showing me jars of weed, and I've been looking at it and saying, oh, gee, I really would like to smoke some of that. And more often than not, I'm able to. But none of these companies have done that. I don't get it.
They will come along, but there's obviously people growing weed in the legal industry that you would probably buy. Everyone has that story, right? Oh,
yeah.
No, there's some good weed out there. So and so's doing this.
But I'm not excited for it though. I'm not like looking like I ask people, and even they don't seem that jazzed. I mean, the ones who are really on it, and I look at it, or like the images are always hidden. They don't ever really show the weed. When I see the weed, it didn't look that great. I don't know. But I still, you know, the other day someone showed me that Nambian weed. I didn't even love it. I can't wait till the guy does the second round of it. But the look of it, I thought, ooh, I'd like to try that.
Yeah. Well, it's not all that easy to grow and present cannabis to a buyer, right? It traditionally has been hit and miss. Not hit and miss necessarily, but you know, you don't know necessarily how to dial it in, or still being presented, in my mind, based on yield. The whole fucking thing is still about how much can we get, and that would determine what they grow and what they present, right? So you're not growing long-term sativas, oddly enough. See, I don't know. It all comes back to them not giving a shit as an industry who is coming to their table that will want to buy the weed. And that was people who liked weed. Prior to their existence, it was people who liked weed, who smoked weed. And nobody else. It wasn't a bunch of fucking non-weed consumers hanging around. They're out doing whatever they consume. We, on the other hand, like cannabis.
Well, I guess they were hoping to introduce people to cannabis. I guess the idea is, you know, oh, you guys who already smoke pot, we don't want to talk to you. We're going to talk to these new people. Well, I don't really know.
They can't, I don't know, for some unknown reason, acknowledge that existed somehow. They want to erase that actually happened. Because we built a strong culture and industry underneath their wicked and stupid prohibition. And I don't think they like that too much. Point that out.
Which is too bad, because even if you were, say, an opportunist, wouldn't it be great to integrate what was there and working, and then and even take some credit for it to say, well, look, we would love, oh yeah, our pals this whole time, come on in.
No, they can't. They can't acknowledge our point of view because it's contrary to theirs. And that's why they would feel their need to eradicate the culture and ignore, unfortunately, anyone who smoked cannabis or ate cannabis or bought cannabis. The only people who bought cannabis use fucking cannabis. Right? Not a bunch of non-users coming and buying cannabis and making such a wonderful industry. It's people who like cannabis. So, to further want to take advantage of those very people, charge them taxes and charge them high prices and pass off poor quality or, follow some stupid rule. So, I don't know. That it's unusual in my mind that they would care to and want to pursue and go from that point of view.
Yeah, like I was thinking the other day that, like Neil Magnuson, his project, Cannabis Substitution Project, started in February 2017. So prior to the Cannabis Act. So if the Cannabis Act was supposed to, fix all these issues, wasn't that the big promise after 100 years of an insane prohibition? You say, let's fix this with, you called it the Cannabis Act. Like what a chance to make it right, and it doesn't allow for a program like Neil's.
No, I don't know.
Strange, and it's a successful program
as far as I can see.
Kind too.
In reality, I don't know. It's difficult, perhaps, to prove how many people have been helped. It'd be fairly obvious how many people are being harmed by this. It's not like they're doing any harm. And if one person gets away from hard drugs, it's a fucking success.
Oh, yeah, with 10. I actually, there's a video on Pod TV right now called 2 Years with the Cannabis Substitution, and it's just a collection of some things we've aired on Neil's show. But there's so many testimonials from people who are saying this has helped me. I actually stopped counting at 75 because I was like, well, I need to write down the numbers so if someone sees this, they know in the video write-up, what they're looking at. I just stopped at 75 because I thought, how many more? I don't know, like if it was a success for one person, it just didn't hurt them, let alone someone who liked it, someone who would even go so far as to care for it the way they do a rose or any other thing.
Well, and how much harm have you caused? Like, what's the problem with doing this? Why can you not give out cannabis to those who would like it? Why can't you do that? There's no harm. Ain't no harm in it. Right? Like anything else. I don't know. I suppose they wouldn't let you even give out free food. I bet they do. You could. What's the fucking difference here? It's not causing any harm. The point of view of it helps. You ain't fucking working with these guys. They don't care. They don't want to even know that it's helping. They'd prefer that it probably didn't.
I mean, for me, even if it didn't, even if there was no effect from smoking cannabis, the prohibition wouldn't make any sense. The fact that it has so much utility is
No, it just came along at a time and grew into something that could always be taken advantage of. Oh, we've always got cannabis to make money or spend money or appear as though we care about the health of people. Here to protect you.
Yeah,
A win situation for them. It always has been. Cannabis has long since been used just like that by prohibition. It opens up troughtfuls of money, always has, to the police and to health fucking idiots. Here's some idiots. Speaking of, that's a very good segue, I'd say.
Here's some wow, that's a good segment. Here's some idiots.
This was published in the American Chemical Society, if you can believe that such a publication, really, or a society, the chemical. No, we're the American Society, not the European one. So,
gotta let them know.
Says, ozone breaks down THC deposited on surfaces from third-hand cannabis smoke. Third-hand cannabis smoke.
Can you send me that link? I don't understand. How many people would you have to? You've never seen that ever. Someone exhaling secondhand cannabis smoke, and less intentional. I guess three.
Third-hand tobacco smoke have received lots of attention, although I've never heard of third-hand tobacco smoke.
Yeah, I've seen
much less is known about the compounds deposited on surfaces from cannabis smoke. Now researchers have discovered that ozone, a component of outdoor and indoor air, can react with tetrahydrocannabinol, or THC. It can react with THC to produce new compounds, which they characterize for the very first time.
From third-hand usage? I don't understand. Yeah, I'd love to see this.
Smoke emits reactive chemicals that remain in the air, so-called second-hand smoke, or deposit onto surfaces. They call it third-hand smoke. If they included what surfaces are, including walls, windows, clothing, upholstery, we go, well, yeah, record, well, that's not on the list. Upholstery. Third-hand smoke. So, yeah. So the reaction to the ozone causes, it was very useless fucking article. Because the low volatility of THC and its oxidation products, the compounds are unlikely to be emitted to the air, where they could be inhaled in large amounts, such as nicotine. They keep going back to cigarettes. They say that somebody could still be exposed to THC and its derivatives, whose health effects are unknown. If they, for example, lick their fingers after touching a surface contaminated by cannabis smoke, Huh? That's happening a lot, I suspect. People are licking their fingers. Man, getting high off the third-hand smoke. Yeah, I'll bet everything pretty much does that. Whatever's in the air oxidizes, and you probably do breathe it in.
Yeah, I'm sure you breathe a lot of things in. I thought it was like 70% nitrogen in the atmosphere. I don't know the count, but I'm sure you're breathing in all kinds of things.
Yeah, I don't know how it all works
It's
either.
like the trees of the other half of your lungs. The
These
trees,
boys found some money for
the
research.
ocean.
Wow, that's opened a floodgate for researchers to sell ideas. Here's what we need to research next. Whether or not third hand. No, not second hand. We're way beyond that. We're on to third hand smoke. I don't know how that isn't second hand smoke. I don't know, like, really. Third hand? I guess that's what's exhaled by the second hand smoke.
Yeah, I suppose if you say that the product of the secondhand interaction is then becomes its own thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know.
But ozone breaks it down. We now know that. Thank Christ we know that. What is happening to our world since cannabis use has been always been used? Let's go look at those people to see what they experience. No. Let's pay these clowns to go let cannabis go to the surfaces.
I like that someone's doing it. I think that should be done. If that's what someone wants to be out there licking, they should be able to do that. But
No.
shouldn't be so difficult to set these sorts of things up. The exclusivity of this weird,
They said contaminated
cannabis
by
study.
smoke. It's bullshit. Nonsense. And so what? Right? What has happened in all these years with everything in our households that are constantly being covered with cannabis smoke? What has happened? No reports of anything. So, wouldn't that be your final statement? Seems fairly safe. Doesn't matter. Found this. Cool. Now I know that. The fuck do I care?
Yeah,
The cannabis breaks down, the THC in particular breaks down, is oxidized. Yeah. The minute you exhale it, it's been oxidized and never hurt anyone ever.
well, some people have had a bad time. No one's ever died. I'm sure it's been too strong for some people, but not too strong to the point of death.
Well, no. No toxicity whatsoever. Yeah, so you can't handle it. Get away. Leave me alone.
Yeah, certainly. Yeah, certainly
Practice
not.
more. I do that.
The practice.
Yeah. It's really what will help
Yeah.
is to smoke more and more often. And then eventually, quite quickly actually, you become adapted to it. So, I don't know. They, much is reported about it every which way. Anyone can figure a way to get an article paid for, really. Every angle. Well, and, I get it. it's wide open. Everything that happens in the world now is trying to figure out a way to include cannabis. Big market cannabis world. It's going to be huge. So, yeah.
Well, big cannabis is a big draw. All the potential.
Yeah.
Although it should be a big draw. I mean, I think the idea of having lots of, hemp batteries, not enough hemp plastic just to begin with. There's lots of things you could do. But yeah, even cannabis, the industry is certainly there. It's like any other plant, though. The prohibition has really just mucked it up for the people who really like it or need it. And it's just expanded from that, because I figure that if Rastafarians could just be anywhere, and you always just kind of knew where to find a Rastafarian or someone you knew who was cared for it, so you wouldn't have to worry about its safety. You would always have it, and that would include anyone else who just walked with those seeds.
Well, it should be that easy. In Jamaica, it's kind of it grows pretty well there.
Yeah.
Compared to here. Everybody's got plants in the backyard, and big ones too, some of them. Oh, big sativas.
Yeah. But you should be,
a
yeah.
ton of coffee grown here. Speaking of growing pot, CanTrust is to resume cannabis sales in Alberta, British Columbia, and Ontario. Who are these people now? They're
I wish them well. I hope they do it right, and I hope it's great, and I hope they help get everybody out for the same thing that they're doing. But I really I don't know if anyone else built a fake wall to intentionally deceive someone. Like, it's one thing to say, hey,
they're the ones that did
A and it was B, but I don't know. That seems like a bit much.
Trust in
You also might have just been building a wall to keep that
can't rest.
a little more control of the environment, but not enough. It's really unfortunate. More than unfortunate. Because if anyone else did it, they'd go to jail. I don't know. I don't understand. I don't get it.
Serious regulatory violations. Being censured. They were censured for serious regulatory violations. I don't know what that means. Censured. What?
Centaurs, I think. I think they send centaurs after you.
So they're just going to start selling weed again. They've been growing weed this whole time, probably, and censured. No more medical marijuana exports, so
That's a real shame. Why can't you just get Afghan bricks? What if that's what you want? Some people will want different things, finer hashes. Well, I guess that would chill things out.
yeah, no talk in the whole article about what they're going to do for the consumer. What's in it for the consumer? The people who buy cannabis and like cannabis. What's in it for us?
What's in it for the plant? Does it get to grow free and grown by the people who like it? So
yeah. Free-grown cannabis. This product is made from pre-grown cannabis.
Pre-grown?
Pre-grown.
Pre-grown. Pre-grown cannabis.
Pre-grown.
It's pre-grown. Is that bud pre-grown?
Handled. That's the problem too, right? Like, there's a lot of things wrong with the way cannabis is being presented here, and packaged, and manufactured, and many times machines are doing a lot of the fucking trimming. Right? It's being trimmed to death and beat the shit up, walked down the line, into fucking smashed into bins, and all over this conveyor belt. And I don't know. And somebody's come up with some concept of how you try and cure this stuff. Right? And that's all it's been. Some guys, I don't know how it should be done or how they did it. And combine that with all the potential nuances of the technologies that they're using. The rooms, the size, the temperature, the fucking humidity, everything. Everything. Right? How are you using this? How are you going to use it? And maybe don't do it so well. Itching to get picking, and don't wait too long before, thinking it's done, and overfeed the shit out of it all along the way. Maybe flush, maybe not. Wait constantly with the temperatures and humidities. Except in the greenhouse. Gotta figure out how to keep that warm. Ain't growing in a greenhouse today at 2 degrees outside without heat. Can't imagine. So
You can't even grow it on your balcony everywhere. It doesn't make any sense. I have a tiny little plant in the windowsill. Why can't you, sun outside? An indoor grow is
how
like
many hours of sun, where that sun is in the sky, kind of shit. We don't know anything about this plant in that respect, or we may just take for granted what we think we've known under prohibition, what we think we've figured out, and it's just all done on calculators and plugged in, I guess. But people will come along who actually like cannabis and enjoy it not being beat up by machines and then thrown into a fucking jar. Maybe ready, dried, not. Maybe it gets moldy along the way. After it's maybe been fucking irradiated. Right?
Yeah, a number of places are, but yeah, it's really unfortunate that there's no place on the legal market to get cannabis if your interest is sacrament. I don't feel there's any company that has that. So,
Get in line.
and if you can't grow your own, then you're a criminal.
Well, yeah. So that's a whole other fight, I guess. But
well, the freedom of having an indoor, outdoor,
the freedom of having cannabis, which in fact doesn't hurt anyone. This cannabis doesn't hurt anyone. So
you don't look like you're you don't look like you're in danger. You don't look like you're in danger.
No, and just because I say it's my sacrament doesn't make any difference, because it still doesn't hurt anybody. Oh, this bubble gum doesn't hurt anyone. Or anything, for fuck's sakes, it doesn't hurt anyone. So, I don't know why that's not more the focus here. So what? I don't care. Health doesn't matter. Good, bad, you think? Doesn't hurt anyone. So what? Next. But unfortunately, figured out how to make money off it. And that was only because it was illegal, I guess. I would have to think. Took advantage of that opportunity. And cannabis has become a commodity that those who wanted and supported the industry that rose up around it, they supported it and made it into what it was. But
Yeah.
also quite reluctantly. We didn't ask for it to be that way. We just wanted cannabis. We didn't really care how the guy got it, right? So, but what an odd thing, in a way. Under a harsh prohibition, we were able to still create and develop this quasi-legal industry, like wide open, fucking in your face kind of industry. All the magazines, all the t-shirts and hats and fucking festivals and all this stuff, like right out in front of you. It's quite remarkable, gotta say. Who did that? Once again, people who wanted cannabis. That's all. People who care. Did all that. Bought all that weed. Smoked it. Okay. For years and years and years. So, interesting. It'll be good when the industry decides that those people exist, begin to look at the potential of what we might like out of it, what would appeal to us, not what appeals to you, not what appeals to somebody who doesn't know. So, interesting. Maybe I'll just have to show them how it's done. That'd be easier, I suppose.
I would like to see that. I would very much like to see that.
I only need $250 million.
Oh,
That's all I need to get started. That's just for the potential. What we could do, my God. So, so yeah, I don't know. It'd be good to lots of people see everybody that's going to come along to grow weed's going to do it differently and produce different results. I predict.
I hope so. There's always people doing interesting things. I see stuff all the time. Cannabis, they always say, I do it this way, I did it that way.
Well, the packaging sucks. If you're getting a gram, for God's sakes, they throw it in a big giant jar while it bounces around in the whole process of being manhandled from that point on. So, who the fuck ever did that?
Yeah.
Ever package their weed like that?
Yeah, it's like grapes and raisins, except the raisins are treated as if they're poison. So it's like there's a double layer because like there's no child proof on that. But like, yeah, it all.
Do they not know that the trichomes are there to be knocked off? For fuck's sakes, what if you're going to treat it like that? It's going to bounce around in transit? You don't do that to any other fucking thing ever. You don't do it with eggs. You don't bounce around in transit. But
Wow, yeah, I guess.
certain
I
lack of
guess.
knowledge of the cannabis plant. And what we like about it is fucking on the outside of it, trichomes that you're knocking off all over the inside of this jar. Couldn't they vacuum seal it? Or is it too much work to make your cannabis nice? Like, if you want to sell grams, what the fuck are you doing? And same thing with pre-rolls. It's all machines. It has to be. Like, it's just too hard and too much to roll any other way. So the machine then requires a certain type of cannabis to fit into it. Certain grind to it. So black. I guess. So depends on what you start with, I suppose. But it depends on what you start with. Because the machine doesn't like that really sticky good stuff. So I'd never buy anything sight unseen, really, unless I knew. But I don't think nobody's hand rolling their own machine, so it's machines as much as they can. If that's where the money's at. You make more money with a machine. So they beat the shit out of this cat for no apparent reason. Yeah, you could probably figure it out, but the occasion of the marijuana being trimmed, right, is more, you want trim marijuana because then you don't have to do it yourself. But on the other hand, you might want it untrimmed. Leave it alone. Give me a branch. Give me a branch. But nobody's going to do that because they don't get it at all, and the user is not really too high on the list of priorities perhaps yet. Well, I don't know. I don't want this to drag on too long the way it is because that can get lost fairly quickly in terms of what's, here it is, here's what we got, here's how we do it. And not change those who get involved. Only do so trying to refine that process. And then it will all come down to the dollar. How much can we grow in this space in the quickest amount of time? Just like prohibition. So, right? Because it's never big enough, evidently. Ask Aurora. But, yeah, growing weed over football field size places is tricky business. But I don't gotta worry too much.
Smaller spaces are better though. Like even if you had a large facility, would it just be lots of small small rooms? Like, isn't
Well, I
that...
would think so. It makes more sense. I mean, it's way easier to contend with. It depends on what you want to do, but no. Any size would be manageable given that you could have the right conditions.
It's a shame, yeah. Because, like, I imagine such a large place like that, you could really grow tall plants. You could just let them
Well,
get, because the
yeah,
ceilings are like, you know, they're huge.
especially when you got it bathed in more light than you can imagine, right? They would go way overboard on how much light they use just because they don't fucking know, right? And the lights are way up there. So, yeah, they could grow giant plants, but they don't. Right? It's all got to be figured out ahead of time on how quickly and most and blah blah blah. So I don't know. It'd be interesting to see when that comes along to enjoy full-term sativas and so what? You got a fucking football field size grow up, and you can't put a couple of sativas in the corner. Or all the, you know, they don't get it. But it also shows you that it's for profit more so than for pot.
Well, you have to strictly regulate it, you know, because of the kids and the black market, whatever that means. Scary word, black, and the kids.
Yeah. So I don't know how they ever would expect to unseat the black market.
I don't get it. I just don't see the danger. Like, I don't understand. This is such an easy trick that you could see, you could figure out very quickly. You'd say, hey, this doesn't make any sense.
Well, I don't know. The people who consumed and wanted to consume cannabis existed before their little scheme, and they've chosen not to include us in it. So that might tell us something as to how much they care about getting rid of the black market. Maybe they don't. They don't care. Go and sell weed to people who don't know anything about weed. Go right in and sell all you got. You will. Maybe not. They're producing so much. So, I don't know. What other industry is being watched under a microscope like this one too? Who's doing what? What's going on? How much?
I don't know. It does not justify the effect. It's great, but this is crazy. Just hounding people for this for 100 years.
Yeah.
More than that in different parts, but man.
But we love it. So yeah,
Such a nice
I don't know.
place.
Did we ever get on YouTube?
No, I can't. I can't reset these parameters until the stream stops. I think I might have figured it out, but it won't let me start once the stream is running. So
Interesting. Well,
but I'll upload it as soon as I'm done, and
eventually
I'll.
it'll get there somehow, some way.
Yeah, definitely. As soon as it'll be uploaded very soon, and there'll be links to everything. So if you want to see any of those stories, the links will be there.
And for those of you who have been sitting at YouTube watching a blank screen, Sorry about that. We were on Facebook. So onward we go. And weed we will smoke. So I hope everybody has a good supply out there and got something good to smoke. I don't know. I had some super lemon haze and Hindu Kush grinding around today. Like it. Sativa, and I always like the taste from the indica. So yeah, thanks a lot for tuning in. Another Wednesday. I'm glad we could get together. So, stay safe out there amidst the fucking ramdemic. Feels like a virus built by Dodge. So, don't know what's going on there. So, but I don't know what to say about it. Stay safe. All I can say. And thanks to Anil for slapping this all together at the last minute, and we're glad he did. Thanks for tuning in to Pod TV and all the other shows too. Check them out, going on every day. Something got it. So yeah, thanks for joining us, and until next time, I'm Marijuana Man. Peace and pot.